At it again. As I told you, we're going to have a great night with some great individuals, some great coaches. I'm happy to be here with my coach, Coach Barnes, a great friend. Happy to be able to support him over the years with his playwright camps and all these things he's had going on. Coach has a resume that we don't have time to read, but we're going to try to get a few things in from coaching Eastern Michigan basketball, the illustrious historic Harlem Globetrotters, the Minnesota Timberwolves, Washington Wizards, and we can go on and on. But we have Coach out here tonight. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Doing good.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here. So we're here at the Rachel Williams Foundation Coaches Forum. Talk about how important something like this is to bring someone of your caliber out and for everyone else that's coming out too.
Well, I think it's important that coaches, young or old, continue to learn and develop. You know, it's all about the game and learning how to deal with not just the game, but with young people.
Right.
I think today I have a motto that still applies to today. Teach, create, and motivate.
Teach, create, and motivate. You guys hear that? Teach, create. Talk about that, Coach.
Well, the first thing you got to be a good teacher. You got to teach the game. You got to teach the lessons of life. And in the process of teaching, you've got to be creative because especially today, our young people are they're going to challenge you.
Sure.
Intellectually.
Sure.
As well as some of the physical things that they're capable of doing versus maybe years ago.
Right.
So I think it's important to keep in mind that you got to find a way to keep them motivated.
Keep them motivated.
You got to make sure that they understand the importance of being successful. And sometimes the old school way of doing things may not be the right way to do it.
Right.
And so it's important that as a teacher, you're able to adjust your teaching methods so that you keep up with the times.
Because that's the key thing. I want to stay on that for a second because to your point, you have a lot of old school coaching. A lot of coaches came through a certain way. I came through a certain way, and we do get locked and set in our ways and say, hey, it's my way or the highway. Right. What has forced you or allows you to be able to be a little bit more open to being about change with your coaching style?
I think communication with young people is vital. I think you've got to hear them. I think you got to make sure they know you understand where they are coming from. And it's not necessarily that you're going to change your thinking, but what you want to do is make sure they feel like you're hearing them.
Coach, you said it once, you said it twice. Yeah, to hear somebody doesn't mean I necessarily have to change.
Yeah.
And if I hear you, I'm probably going to connect with you a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then you're going to know that I heard you too.
Right.
Even if it's something I may not totally agree with at this time?
Right.
Okay. Want to go back to having a great experience. Thanks for inviting me down to Albion some time ago to work with you and the young people. And what I'm getting at is that I saw you be so passionate with those young people. And I'm talking young and what? We're talking about 10, 11, 12 years old?
14, 15.
Okay, Coach, but 15 years old. But then again, we talk about the Washington Wizards. We're talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves. We're talking about playoff contending teams, huge NBA programs. How does someone have the same passion for that age group and it can still transcend and be, on a professional level too?
I think it goes back to that passion. Understanding. I have a passion for teaching. I have a passion for making a difference in young people's lives. And no matter how old or how young, you have to be ready and prepared to go out, in this case, on the basketball court and give the same kind of effort you want to see from them.
Right.
And if they don't see that same effort, that same passion that you talk about, then they're going to be somewhat reluctant to give out the total effort on their side.
They won't give it all up.
They won't give it all.
So you got to give it up too.
I got to give it up.
I saw you, Coach. I was looking at you. I said, Coach going hard, man. It's like the morning just started, but I saw that. So what is the difference between coaching that age group and coaching, NBA caliber player?
The biggest difference is obviously you still have to be a good communicator.
Sure.
I think that's basic no matter what level you're dealing with.
Sure.
But for me, I get more fulfillment dealing with the youth because you see the growth.
Right.
You see them grasp what you're trying to do,
right,
and then really try to do what you're asking them to do.
Right. They respond to you like that.
And obviously on the NBA level, it's a whole different level.
I can imagine.
So, but if you can get them to cooperate and do the things and buy in on what you're telling them, then that's a good feeling as well.
So we just got through March Madness, but we got the NBA playoffs rolling around. Do you find yourself flicking back and forth between the channels?
All the time.
So there is no one spot, one channel, huh?
No, you still flip around. You kind of keep up with everything. I'm doing things that still, even though I'm not affiliated with a team specifically, I still work with guys, and I'm having a pro camp.
Okay, great.
later in May.
Okay.
To try to help create opportunities for guys who still aspire to play, not necessarily at the NBA level, but at the professional level.
Okay.
Somewhere either within the States or overseas.
So if I'm someone who's transitioned from my collegiate playing experience, or I'm just really still ready to go, by connecting with you, you're going to kind of show them what they need to be focused on and working on.
Help them understand what they have to do.
Do you find a lot of young people, when they get to that point, are they really aware of what's needed to kind of take it to the next level?
Most of them don't know.
Really?
Because they haven't been exposed to it. They don't understand the work ethic. They don't know the specific skills that's necessary for them to be successful at the professional level.
Sure.
Because the game is different.
It's different.
And it's a higher level in terms of athleticism, a higher level of skills.
Right.
So you have to understand what things that may work in the high school and college level will not necessarily work at the professional level.
You almost have to be ready for that too. And you can see them like a deer in the headlights once they
you say once flying through it.
This is what you got to do.
Yeah, this is what you got to do. They like, oh, okay.
That's great.
So,
Coach, the room is starting to fill up. What advice do you have for any coach who may be here tonight, trying to get here, or just them taking advantage, like we said earlier at the top of the speaking part about professional development?
Horatio has put a great program here.
Yes, yeah.
He got some outstanding coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably the number one thing is sit back and learn.
Sit back and learn.
Yeah.
Sit back and learn.
And don't think that you got the answers.
Sure.
Young coaches have a tendency to think they've got the answers.
So you can see it on their face, huh?
Oh, yeah. and so I think it's important to learn. And that's one of the things I learned at an early stage. Mm-hmm. I was fortunate and blessed to start my coaching career at a young age of 22.
Coach, that was 3 years ago then, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
But what happens, and my mentors always said, sit down, be quiet, and learn.
Mm-hmm. On that topic, what do you say about the young person? And I always felt that a lot of our coaches feel that they're going to be exposed of not knowing a lot by coming to events like this. But you're saying, no, it's expected that you don't know much, just come and learn. But that seems that you kind of see that back and forth a lot of times.
Well, I think sometimes they think that they have the answers, but more importantly, they already have a direction that they want to go. But those they realize there's always one or two things that each of these speakers can probably add to what they're already doing. Don't change what you're doing, but listen and learn some of the things that you might be able to take away to help your system be stronger.
So you, with your great coaching resume and all you've done on every level, there's some things you're probably going to be able to pick up this evening as well.
No question. That's why I'm here.
That's so you come to get yourself.
I come to learn. I'm not here to do anything, but I'm happy to contribute to your program. But it's important for me to learn as well.
Right.
It's all about continuing to learn. No one is too old or too experienced to learn a new trick.
Wow, well, that's great. Well, Coach, I appreciate you stopping by. Keep an eye out for Coach Barnes and all he has going on. You got the pro camp coming up in May. You're doing a lot of great things down in the Albion, Battle Creek area, and just keep an eye out, and I appreciate you stopping by.
Well, thanks a lot.
Appreciate
you.
Thanks, Coach. We'll catch up soon.
You bet.
Great. That was great, Coach.